What's up, everybody? It's Devontae. I'm back with another video, and in this one, I want to talk a little bit about how I really take advice and the reasons why, so you don't think it's because I'm self-centered. I'm actually very humble. It's gonna be hard to gauge my personality a bit through my videos, and because there's three faces we all show people. Or there's three faces or three masks that we all have. Let's acknowledge that. There's ones we show the world. This is going to be your coworkers and people that are parasocial relationships, relationships that are loose, weak ties, and maybe just front facing. There's ones we show people that are friends and family and close to us. And then there's the face that we actually are when we're alone. So let me take that into consideration. Try not to gauge too much about how I am, if that's what you're trying to do, if these videos reach somebody that watches them. I rarely take advice, and a huge reason why is because advice is not a blanket thing. It's very specific. So when we talk about personal finances, one of the biggest things that I see as somebody who's been consuming a lot of not only content but books about personal finance, and what I see a lot is blanket advice to people that is not catered to their very specific situations. It's always general advice. That's with anything. So one of the quotes from Bruce Lee that I hope I get right, because I read the book, is take what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is essentially your own. And I try to live my life like that. So I'm usually an active listener when people give their 2 cents on something. Honestly, a lot of times it's unsolicited. I don't ask for advice once again. I ask people sort of something along the lines of, what would you do? And I hear them try to rejigger the situation to fit what they think they would accomplish. And chances are they're off by a huge margin unless they've already done this before and it's something that can be replicated. So we're talking about finance or starting a business or going back to school. I see a lot of people look it up and they get stuck in that analysis paralysis of trying to find the right information as though that will solve the problem. And from my experience, and maybe yours too, you only need a little bit of information and a lot of execution. And that's what it really is. And it's something I've struggled with for a long time. And it's not just execution, but consistency. You need discipline to see it through. A lot of times it's just being able to do the same thing over and over and over and over that people fail at. And knowing when to stop, obviously that's wisdom. So if we break that down into three separate categories, it's knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Knowledge is the acquisition of information. So as you getting the information from a book, a video, whatever the fuck, you actually acquire it. Then there's understanding. Understanding is being able to apply that knowledge and execute it over time. What wisdom will be is knowing when to apply it and when not to, when to stop. So it's very nuanced execution. Now we're talking about skill. So that's knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. KUW. That's something I've grown to understand over time. So we only need access to a little bit of information, but we get stuck in these loops of researching and asking and Reddit forums about what should I do. And I see it all the time because I read a lot on Reddit. This is something that's fairly new for me. I didn't always do this, but I read a lot of Reddit and people just want more information because they think that's going to make them act. And it won't. It won't. You're going to be stuck doing the same shit that you were at the beginning of 2024 when you weren't doing shit. And it's going to be 2025 and you're going to be wondering like, dang, I still haven't gotten this clothing brand off the ground. I still haven't gotten this degree up off the ground. I still haven't finished these classes. I have to re-sign back up for school. I have to get started on this part-time job and these applications. I have to revamp my resume. It's because you're caught in analysis paralysis. You don't need more information. You don't need any advice. I think that there's too much advice online because it gives you more content to fuel your dopamine receptors and make you think that you're getting closer to the goal. You're not. You have all of the information you need. And a lot of times, even when we don't have access to all of it, learn as you go. I've found that to be more true in not only my job search, in school, in living on my own. I would say the bulk of it, the wisdom that I have now, is just from fumbling, learning at the same time. Making mistakes, being able to bounce back from mistakes. The position that I have now, I've probably made the most mistakes in terms of like on the job. And now 3 months in, I feel like I'm a lot more confident than I was that first day. Just fumbling. No amount of watching videos could have prepared me for what I learned on the job. No amount of watching videos could have prepared me for my first flight ever. Just being completely honest. I admire it because you might think that the person you're asking has more information. The chances of them giving you something new or formatting in a way that you haven't heard it already is slim to none. You just need to execute what you already know. And more information that is more applicable to where you currently are as you're executing will become available to you as you need it. But learning start to finish about how to execute a business and take it from 0 to 1 million is useless if you don't start. Knowing how to live as a junior in college is useless if you don't start, get the financial aid or whatever you do, and become a freshman first. You get what I'm saying? Like, step 4 is useless if you never start step 1. So, food for thought. There's too much information on YouTube, on Google, on Reddit. Stop asking for advice, or do whatever the hell you want. But this is why I rarely take advice. So, something to think about. Disagree with me if you want. Let's see how that goes.